The cast-off. Captain Maya Rice stood motionless in the massive docking bay, her expression carefully neutral despite her rising indignation. Before her hovered what the Galactic Assembly representatives had called a generous technological exchange. A decommissioned starship that even the most charitable observer would classify as junk. The vessel's hull was a patchwork of mismatched alloys, some sections so corroded that they seemed to be held together by little more than cosmic dust and optimism. We understand this might appear modest by gravity or Halaxian standards, Ambassador Torque said, his gelatinous form pulsing with what Maya recognized as poorly concealed amusement. But for a species so recently emerged from planetary confinement, it represents an appropriate technological foundation. Maya ran her hand along a panel of the outer hull, feeling the uneven texture beneath her fingers. Decades of oxidation had eaten away at what might once have been an elegant design. The propulsion system is largely intact, continued the ambassador's aide, a tall, insectoid Corlin named Sith. The tertiary navigation systems should be adequate for your species' needs. The Assembly unanimously agreed this vessel represents a generous gesture of galactic fellowship. Fellowship, the word hung in the recycled station air like a bad joke. Humanity had been petitioning for full Assembly membership for 15 years, only to be repeatedly informed that their technological development was insufficient to warrant equal status. This gift was just another reminder of their perceived inferiority. The United Earth government extends its gratitude to the Assembly for this contribution to our spacefaring capabilities. Maya recited the diplomatic response she'd been instructed to deliver. We look forward to demonstrating our ability to utilize and maintain such advanced technology. The alien delegation departed with barely concealed snickers and clicking mandibles, leaving Maya alone with the derelict vessel. Once they were gone, she activated her neural link. Jacobi, are you seeing this? Dr. Elena Jacobi, Earth's leading xenotechnology expert, responded immediately. Every pathetic centimeter. They've given us their garbage and expected us to be grateful. Can we make anything of it? Maya asked, already circling the vessel, her eyes cataloging every component with clinical precision. Oh, Maya. Jacobi's voice carried a dangerous edge of excitement that made the captain smile despite herself. We're going to make everything of it. 3 days later, the retrofitted cargo bay of Luna Station Alpha had been transformed into an impromptu engineering center. The junked starship had been systematically disassembled, its components catalogued and arranged in neat clusters throughout the vast space. Dozens of Earth's finest engineers, physicists, and xenotechnologists moved purposefully between workstations, their voices creating a cacophony of technical jargon and occasional exclamations of discovery. Maya navigated through the controlled chaos to where Elena Jacobi stood surrounded by holographic schematics, her silver-streaked hair pulled back in a severe bun. Progress report? Maya asked. Elena dismissed a floating diagram with a flick of her wrist and grinned. They've made a critical mistake, Captain. Just one. The most important one. They gave us technology from 7 different species, assuming we couldn't possibly understand how they interact. She gestured toward a disassembled engine core, its crystalline components glowing with a soft blue light. The gravity quantum field manipulators were designed to harmonize with Halaxian gravity wells, but the assembly removed the connective matrices, assuming that without those, the technology would be useless to us. And it's not. The Dravidi never realized that their quantum field technology could directly interface with Corlin photonic networks without a mediating matrix. The Corlin never saw it either because their technology evolved along different lines. Elena's eyes gleamed. But we did. We see connections they miss because we're not burdened by their technological orthodoxies. Maya nodded slowly, beginning to understand. So we can make this fly after all. Captain, we can make it do things the Assembly never dreamed possible. Within 3 weeks, what had once been a collection of discarded parts began to take shape as something entirely new. The original hull had been reconfigured, reinforced with Earth-developed carbon nanoweave that was significantly lighter and stronger than the original material. The engine core, once thought to be operating at only 40% capacity due to missing components, now hummed at 180% efficiency thanks to Dr. Liam Chen's revolutionary recalibration of the quantum field generators. The ship, now christened the Phoenix, no longer resembled the cast-off the assembly had so condescendingly provided. It had been reborn through human ingenuity, stubbornness, and the unique human ability to look at established technology and ask, yes, but what if? "The navigation system is giving me trouble," reported Commander Sarah Oko, Maya's second in command and the ship's designated pilot. "The tertiary systems they left us are slow, unresponsive, and barely capable of plotting a course beyond the Kuiper Belt." "Then we won't use them," Maya decided. "Dr. Park, can we interface Earth's neural responsive navigation protocols with the Corlin sensor array?" Dr. Jai Park looked up from his workstation, brow furrowed. "Theoretically, yes. The Corlin sensors are actually remarkably sophisticated. They just paired them with outdated processing units. If we bypass those and route directly through our quantum processors." "Do it," Maya ordered. "I want this ship to respond to human thought patterns, not alien algorithms." As the work progressed, Maya couldn't help but notice the transformative effect the project was having on her team. These weren't just engineers and scientists anymore. They were pioneers, visionaries who saw beyond the limitations imposed by the assembly's patronizing gift. Where the aliens had expected humans to stumble through basic maintenance of obsolete technology, humanity was instead creating something revolutionary. The discovery came on the 23rd day. Dr. Chen had been examining what appeared to be a redundant power coupling in the ship's lower decks when he realized it wasn't a power coupling at all. "It's a dimensional phase shifter," he explained to the assembled team, his voice trembling with excitement. "The Halaxians used them to slightly offset cargo holds into subspace, creating additional storage capacity without increasing the ship's physical dimensions." "That's hardly revolutionary," commented Dr. Park. "Most advanced species have some form of dimensional manipulation technology." "Yes, but look at how it interfaces with the ship's power grid." Chen pulled up a schematic. "It's not connected to the main power distribution network. It has its own dedicated crystal matrix. The Halaxians didn't want this technology to be affected by power fluctuations." Alina Jacobi suddenly straightened, her eyes widening. "The quantum field manipulators. If we routed them through this dedicated crystal matrix instead of the main power grid, and connected them to the Corlin photonic network," Chen continued, "we could extend the phase shift effect beyond the cargo hold." Elena finished, her voice barely above a whisper. "We could potentially shift the entire ship partially out of normal spacetime." The room fell silent as the implications became clear. A ship that could partially phase out of normal spacetime would be virtually undetectable to conventional sensors. It could pass through solid matter. Traditional weapons would be useless against it. "Can we do it?" Maya asked. Elena and Chen exchanged looks. "It would require completely reconfiguring the power distribution system," Chen said. "And we'd need to extend the crystal matrix throughout the ship's infrastructure. The calculations would be immensely complex," added Elena. "One mistake, and we could lose the ship between dimensions." Maya looked around at her team, seeing the same determination in their eyes that she felt herself. "Begin immediately." 6 weeks after the assembly's gift had been delivered to humanity, a sleek vessel of unrecognizable design hovered at the edge of Luna's orbit. Gone was the patchwork hull and exposed wiring. In its place was a streamlined craft with a midnight blue exterior that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Subtle patterns of luminescence pulsed across its surface, suggesting immense power contained within. The Phoenix was ready for its maiden voyage. Inside the command center, Maya settled into the captain's chair, feeling the neural interface activate as the ship's systems harmonized with her thought patterns. The bridge crew, all hand-picked specialists, monitored their stations with focused intensity. "All systems are nominal, Captain," reported Commander Okoa from the pilot station. "The dimensional phase shifter is stable at 5% integration." "Communications from Lunar Control," announced Lieutenant Dias. "They're requesting confirmation of our flight plan." Maya smiled. "Inform them we'll be conducting a simple system check within lunar orbit. Nothing extravagant." What she didn't mention was that representatives from the Galactic Assembly had coincidentally arrived for an inspection of humanity's progress with their generous gift. A delegation including Ambassador Torque and several technical advisors was currently observing from Lunar Control, undoubtedly expecting to witness humanity's limited grasp of their cast-off technology. "Initiate primary propulsion," Maya ordered. "Let's show our visitors what humanity can do with a little junk and a lot of imagination." The Phoenix moved with a grace that defied its cobbled-together origins. As it accelerated away from lunar orbit, the quantum field generators, now interfaced with technologies never intended to work together, hummed with power that registered as impossible on assembly monitoring equipment. "We're being hailed by an assembly vessel," Dias reported. "They're demanding to know what modifications we've made to their technological exchange." "On screen," Maya commanded. Ambassador Torque's gelatinous form appeared, its usual purple hue now an agitated red. "Captain Rice, what have you done to our gift?" "Our sensors are detecting energy signatures inconsistent with the technology provided." "We've made some improvements," Maya replied casually. "Just a few tweaks to better suit human operational parameters." "Improvements?" The Carlin technical advisor pushed forward, his compound eyes dilating with what Maya recognized as alarm. "You've completely reconfigured the quantum field generators." "That's a violation of what exactly?" Maya interrupted. "The technology was given to us without restrictions. We've simply optimized it according to our understanding." "Your understanding is incomplete and dangerous," the Corlin insisted. "Our sensors indicate you're generating a localized dimensional variance. Such technology is restricted by Assembly Protocol 3297. Maya leaned forward in her chair. "Then perhaps you shouldn't have given us the components to build it." "Dimensional phase shifting at 10%, Captain," Chen reported quietly. "Demonstrate, Mr. Chen." At Maya's command, the Phoenix shimmered, its outline becoming slightly blurred as it partially shifted out of normal spacetime. On the view screen, the assembly representatives recoiled in collective shock. "This is impossible," whispered the Halaxian advisor. "The power requirements alone should." "You underestimated us," Maya stated simply. "You all did. You gave humanity your scraps, believing we couldn't possibly comprehend the full potential of your technologies. But we don't see limitations where you do. We see possibilities." The Phoenix completed a graceful arc around the assembly observation vessel, moving with impossible speed and precision. As it passed through the shadow of the larger ship, it momentarily disappeared from all sensors, completely phased out of normal spacetime. "This demonstration is concluded," Maya announced as the Phoenix reappeared. "Please convey to the Assembly that humanity appreciates their technological exchange. It has been most enlightening." As the communication ended, Maya looked around at her crew. At the pride evident in their expressions, the vindication of their weeks of tireless work. What the Assembly had intended as a humiliating reminder of humanity's place in the galactic hierarchy had instead become the foundation of something revolutionary. "Set course for the outer system," she ordered. "Let's see what this ship can really do." The Phoenix accelerated away from lunar orbit, leaving behind a delegation of stunned alien observers and a clear message: humanity would not be underestimated again. What none of them could have known was that their revolutionary ship would soon be all that stood between the galaxy and complete annihilation. The true test of the Phoenix and humanity's place in the cosmos was yet to come. The Reckoning. 3 months after the Phoenix's maiden voyage, Captain Maya Rice stood before the United Earth Government Security Council, her posture rigid as she delivered news that had left even the most seasoned counselors pale with apprehension. The dimensional anomaly was first detected by our deep space monitoring station near Proxima Centauri, she explained, gesturing to the holographic display at the center of the chamber. Initial readings suggested a localized spatial distortion, but subsequent analysis reveals something far more concerning. The hologram shifted to show a pulsating tear in the fabric of spacetime, its edges ragged and unstable, expanding at an alarming rate. "We're looking at a cascading dimensional fracture," continued Dr. Elena Jacobi, stepping forward to join Maya. "Based on our calculations, it will reach Earth's solar system within 17 days. When it does, the gravitational distortions alone will destabilize planetary orbits throughout the system." "And the galactic assembly?" asked Counselor Nakamura, his weathered face grave. "What is their response to this threat?" Maya and Elena exchanged glances. "The assembly has declined to intervene," Maya said carefully. "According to their analysis, the anomaly originated in a region of space frequented by several of their more advanced member species conducting experimental dimensional research. They've classified this as a Level 3 containment scenario." "Which means what, exactly?" demanded Counselor Garcia. "It means they've written off this entire sector," Elena explained bluntly. "Assembly protocols prioritize protecting core worlds. Peripheral systems affected by Level 3 events are considered acceptable losses." The council chamber erupted in outrage, voices overlapping as the implications became clear. Earth, humanity's cradle, was deemed expendable by the galactic community they had so eagerly sought to join. "Silence," commanded Council President Adayemi, her powerful voice cutting through the chaos. When order was restored, she fixed Maya with an unwavering gaze. "Captain Rice, you didn't come here merely to deliver a death sentence. What are you proposing?" Maya straightened. "The Phoenix was built from discarded assembly technology, but what we created goes far beyond anything they intended or imagined. Our dimensional phase shifting capabilities weren't designed merely for stealth or defense. They give us the unique ability to interact directly with the fabric of spacetime." "You believe your ship can somehow seal this fracture?" Adayemi asked, skepticism evident in her tone. "Not as it currently exists," Maya acknowledged. "But Dr. Jacobi and her team have developed a theoretical approach that could stabilize the anomaly. It would require significant modifications to the Phoenix's dimensional phase shifters and quantum field generators." "Theoretical being the operative word," noted Counselor Nakamura. "It's our only option," Elena insisted. "Assembly vessels can't approach the anomaly without being torn apart by gravitational shear. Their technologies weren't designed to withstand dimensional instability of this magnitude. But the Phoenix wasn't designed according to their limitations." President Adayemi's gaze moved between the two women, measuring their conviction. Finally, she nodded. "How long will these modifications require?" "With unlimited resources and round-the-clock work." 10 days, Maya answered, "which leaves us precisely 1 week to reach the anomaly and attempt to stabilize it before it enters our solar system." "You have everything you need," Adayemi declared, overriding the beginning of objections from several counselors. "Humanity's survival takes precedence over budgetary concerns or political maneuvering. Captain Rice, the fate of Earth now rests with you and the Phoenix." As they left the council chamber, Elena caught Maya's arm. "You didn't tell them." "Tell them what?" Maya asked, though she knew exactly what her friend meant. "That even if we succeed in stabilizing the anomaly, the power requirements will almost certainly destroy the Phoenix. It's a one-way mission." Maya's expression remained impassive. "Would it have changed their decision? Would it change yours?" Elena looked away. "No, but the crew deserves to know what they're volunteering for." "And they will," Maya assured her. "But first, let's make sure we build something that actually has a chance of success." The Phoenix had never been designed for the modifications now being implemented under Dr. Jacobi's direction. The ship's lower decks had been completely reconfigured, with the dimensional phase shifters now connected to a massively expanded crystal matrix. The quantum field generators had been pushed beyond their theoretical limits, their power output now regulated by experimental algorithms that Dr. Chen described as educated guesswork with a healthy dose of human intuition. Most significant was the addition of the gravitational wave emitter, a completely new technology that Elena and her team had developed by combining principles from Halaxian spatial manipulation and Earth's own theoretical physics. If it worked, it would allow the Phoenix to essentially stitch the tears in spacetime, counteracting the cascading fracture effect. Maya moved through the organized chaos of the retrofitting operation, stopping occasionally to speak with crew members who would soon join her on what might well be humanity's final mission. None had hesitated when told the true nature of their assignment. They understood the stakes, not just for humanity, but potentially for all life in this sector of the galaxy. Commander Oko found Maya in what had once been the ship's mess hall, but was now a makeshift coordination center. "Ambassador Torque is requesting permission to come aboard," she reported, making no effort to hide her disdain. "He claims to have information relevant to our mission." Maya raised an eyebrow. "The Assembly suddenly cares about our fate." "I doubt it. My guess is they're concerned about what we might accomplish with our primitive understanding of their cast-off technology." "Let's find out. Escort him aboard." Ambassador Torque's gelatinous form seemed somehow diminished since their last encounter, his normal vibrant purple now a subdued lavender. He was accompanied by a Halaxian scientist Maya didn't recognize. "Captain Reyes," Torque began, his translation device conveying what might have been respect, or possibly fear. "The Assembly has been monitoring your preparations with great interest." "I'm sure they have," Maya replied coolly, "particularly since they've decided to abandon this sector to its fate. Assembly protocols are complex and not easily changed," Torque said defensively. "But there are those among us who question the wisdom of our non-intervention policies in this instance." "How fortunate for us." The Halaxian stepped forward. "I am Scientist First Rank Neraval. I was part of the research team whose experiments may have contributed to the anomaly's formation." Maya's eyes narrowed. "You're saying the Assembly caused this disaster?" "Not intentionally," Neraval insisted. "We were exploring theoretical applications of dimensional shifting technology, similar to what you've implemented on this vessel, but on a much larger scale. There was an unexpected resonance cascade. And rather than take responsibility for your mistake, the Assembly decided to write off an entire sector of space," Maya said flatly. Torque's form rippled with discomfort. "Captain, we've come to offer assistance. Neraval has brought detailed schematics of the experiments that preceded the anomaly. This information could be crucial to your stabilization efforts." Maya studied them both carefully. "Why?" "The Assembly made it clear that humanity's technological development was of little interest to them. Now suddenly you're offering advanced research data. Because what you've created here," Neraval gestured around the Phoenix, "should not have been possible. You've taken disparate technologies and integrated them in ways our species never considered. The Assembly's scientific consensus has shifted regarding humanity's potential." "In other words," Maya translated, "you're afraid of what we might become if we survive this." Neither alien contradicted her. "Your data is welcome," Maya decided. "Dr. Jacobi will review it immediately. But understand this, when the Phoenix succeeds, the Assembly's relationship with humanity will need to be reconsidered. We won't be patronized or underestimated again." After Torque and Neraval departed, Elena pored over the Halaxian data, her expression growing increasingly troubled. "What is it?" Maya asked. "They were attempting to create a stable wormhole using dimensional phase shifting," Elena explained. "But they didn't account for quantum resonance feedback. When their experiment collapsed, it didn't just fail. It created a tear in the fabric of reality itself." "Can we still fix it?" Elena hesitated. "Yes and no. The gravitational wave emitter concept is sound, but we've been thinking too small. To counteract a dimensional fracture of this magnitude, We'd need to generate a perfectly calibrated gravitational field around the entire anomaly simultaneously, and we can't do that. Not with our current configuration. Elena pulled up a new schematic. But if we reconfigure the phase shifters to create a dimensional bubble around the ship, and then extend the gravitational wave emitter's effect through that bubble. Maya followed the complex equations scrolling across the display. You're talking about converting the entire ship into one massive stabilization device. Yes. But Maya, the power requirements. Elena trailed off. We'll destroy the ship, Maya finished. We knew that was a possibility from the beginning. It's no longer a possibility. It's a certainty. Maya placed a hand on her friend's shoulder. Then we'd make it count. 7 days later, the Phoenix approached the dimensional anomaly. From a distance, it resembled a writhing wound in the blackness of space, pulsing with chaotic energies and distorting the starlight around it. Sensors indicated gravitational shear forces strong enough to tear apart any conventional vessel. On the bridge, Maya surveyed her crew, each face set with determination, each mind aware of what their mission entailed. There would be no escape, no triumphant return. The Phoenix would give its life to save countless others. Final system check, Maya ordered. Dimensional phase shifters at maximum capacity, reported Dr. Chen from his station. Crystal matrix integrity holding at 97%. Quantum field generators operating beyond design specifications, added Lieutenant Park. Power output at 143% and stable. For now. Gravitational wave emitter primed and synchronized with the phase bubble, Elena confirmed. We're as ready as we'll ever be. Maya nodded. Begin approach. Initiate dimensional phase at 30% and increase gradually as we near the anomaly perimeter. The Phoenix moved forward, its hull shimmering as it partially shifted out of normal spacetime. Alarms blared as the gravitational forces intensified, but the ship's revolutionary systems held firm where conventional technology would have failed instantly. Gravitational shear exceeding predicted levels, warned Commander Ocho. Hull integrity at 84% and dropping. Increase phase shift to 50%, Maya commanded. Route additional power to the structural integrity field. As the Phoenix penetrated deeper into the anomaly's influence, the view screen displayed a reality coming apart at the seams. Space itself seemed to fold and unfold in impossible patterns, light bending and twisting in ways that strained human perception. We're approaching the primary fracture point, Elena announced. Gravitational wave emitter charged and ready. Maya took a deep breath. All hands secure for dimensional transition. Initiating final approach. The Phoenix surged forward, now almost completely phased out of normal spacetime. Inside the anomaly, the laws of physics broke down. Normal sensory input became meaningless as the ship existed simultaneously in multiple dimensional states. Crystal matrix showing signs of imminent failure, Chen reported, his voice strained. Power fluctuations throughout all systems. We need to get closer to the fracture origin point, Elena insisted. The gravitational wave has to be precisely centered on the dimensional tier. Maya nodded grimly. Take us in. Maximum phase shift. The Phoenix plunged toward the heart of the anomaly, where reality itself had been shattered by the assembly's careless experimentation. Warning signals screamed from every console as the ship's systems began to fail under the impossible strain. Now, Elena, Maya ordered as they reached the calculated optimal position. Elena activated the gravitational wave emitter. The ship shuddered violently as it channeled power beyond what its systems had ever been designed to handle. The dimensional phase bubble expanded outward, carrying with it a precisely calibrated gravitational field that began to counteract the chaotic forces of the fracture. It's working, whispered Chen, watching his displays with wonder. The fracture is beginning to stabilize. Power levels critical, warned Lieutenant Park. Crystal matrix integrity failing. We have minutes at most before catastrophic system collapse. Maya looked around at her crew, at the humans who had taken cast-off alien technology and transformed it into something that could save worlds. "It's been an honor serving with all of you," she said simply. As the Phoenix poured the last of its energy into the gravitational wave emitter, the dimensional fracture began to seal. Space-time, torn apart by careless experimentation, started to knit back together under the influence of human ingenuity and sacrifice. The ship's systems failed in cascading sequence as the power overload reached critical levels. In the final moments, as alerts blared and consoles sparked with overloaded circuits, Maiden stood from her captain's chair and faced the view screen, watching as their legacy took shape, a healed wound in the fabric of reality. "Transmit final message to Earth," she commanded. Tell them we fixed it." The Galactic Assembly convened an emergency session 1 week later. The chamber buzzed with agitated conversation as representatives from hundreds of species discussed the unprecedented events in what had been designated the doomed sector of space. Ambassador Torque addressed the assembly, his form now the deep purple of formal communication. "The dimensional fracture has been completely neutralized. All readings indicate a return to normal space-time parameters throughout the affected region." "And the human vessel?" asked the Dravidi representative. "Destroyed, as expected," Torque confirmed. The power requirements for such a stabilization effort were far beyond what any ship could withstand. "Yet they accomplished what we deemed impossible," noted the Halaxian High Counselor. "With technology we discarded as obsolete." Uncomfortable silence fell over the chamber as the implications settled among the delegates. A species they had patronized and underestimated had succeeded where the Assembly's most advanced civilizations had failed, and had sacrificed themselves to save worlds the Assembly had written off as acceptable losses. "There is one more matter," Torque continued hesitantly. "Before its destruction, the human vessel transmitted a final data packet. It contains complete schematics of their modifications to our discarded technology, along with a message." "Display the message," ordered the Assembly Arbiter. A holographic projection appeared at the center of the chamber. Captain Maiden looked out at the assembled delegates, her image occasionally distorted by static, but her voice clear and unwavering. "To the Galactic Assembly, what you are witnessing is not merely the resolution of a crisis of your own making. It is proof of humanity's place among the stars. You gave us your cast-offs, believing we could not comprehend their true potential. In doing so, you taught us more than you ever intended about your technologies, your limitations, and yourselves. The Phoenix was built from your discarded parts, but its spirit was entirely human. Remember this as you receive the technological schematics we've included with this transmission. They are freely given to all species of the Assembly, a final gift from the crew of the Phoenix. We do not ask for gratitude. We ask only that you recognize humanity as equals. Earth now stands ready to take its rightful place in the Assembly, not as supplicants grateful for your technological scraps, but as innovators who see possibilities where others see only limitations. The Phoenix may be lost, but humanity endures. We will rebuild what was created here, and we will go further. The next time we meet, it will be as equals." The message ended, leaving the assembly chamber in stunned silence. "The human survivors on Earth have already begun construction of a new vessel," reported the Corlin intelligence liaison, "using the same principles that enabled the Phoenix to stabilize the anomaly." "What are we to make of this?" asked the Dravidi representative, their bioluminescent skin pulsing with agitation. "Is this a threat?" The Assembly Arbiter considered the question carefully before responding. "No, it is a promise, and one I believe we would be wise to honor." 3 months later, the Galactic Assembly diplomatic vessel entered Earth's solar system. Aboard was a delegation authorized to formally invite humanity to join the Assembly as full members, the fastest ascension process in the organization's 10,000-year history. As the vessel approached Earth orbit, its sensors detected an unexpected energy signature. A ship was rising to meet them, sleek, powerful, and unlike any design in the Assembly database. Its midnight blue hull seemed to absorb starlight, while patterns of luminescence pulsed across its surface in complex, hypnotic patterns. Emblazoned across its bow, was a name that sent ripples of recognition through the alien delegation. Phoenix High. In the command chair sat Captain Sarah Oko, former second-in-command and now leader of humanity's revolutionary new vessel. As the assembly ship hailed them, she smiled, not with arrogance, but with the quiet confidence of a species that had found its place among the stars. "This is Captain Oko of the Earth vessel Phoenix I, welcoming the assembly delegation to our solar system," she transmitted. "We look forward to discussing humanity's future role in galactic affairs." As the two ships moved into synchronized orbit around Earth, the message was clear: humanity would not be underestimated again. From cast-off parts and patronizing gifts, they had forged not just a revolutionary technology, but a new future, one where humans stood as equals among the stars, ready to contribute their unique perspective to the galactic community. The assembly had handed humans a junk starship. Humanity had built an unstoppable future.